We have Sunil back. He's a first time home buyer. We interviewed him for his AZ Fitness group last time. There was a lot of good response pinned up and he wanted to buy a house. So he started to ask a few questions. Then he gave us the idea. What if we record? It's going to help wider audience. And we agreed to do it and I'm so happy.
I went home and I actually Googled on you and thank you for this opportunity. You were so nice and generous. How do I know that I can afford a specific range for the house? So let's say someone making 100K, they can think about max 300K house.
No, we cannot generalize on the price because the price depends upon the interest rate. The entire economy in America is built on monthly payment.
How does someone know that this area is in path of growth? Let's say someone making 100K or 200K, what price tag they should be looking at? Just double, maybe three times, or is there a specific parameter that needs to be looked at?
Most of the first time home buyers or any mortgage, first of all, the bank is scared because people are only putting 5%, 10%, 20%. Bank is giving 80%, right? So the bank is more scared. So they take a look at your income and say how much you are qualified for. Rough rule of thumb, the way the bank says is okay, about 33%. If your mortgage or the household housing expense is around 33%, that's really high. They say around 28% is where you are comfortable. As an example, let's say your monthly income gross before taxes is 9,000.
Okay.
Out of 9,000, 3,000 you need to have for taxes, right?
Yeah.
3,000 you can have for housing expense. Another 3,000 you can have for general expenses, groceries or whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So one third, whatever is your gross income divided by three, that is somewhere that's on the high side that you should be. So the lower it is, the better.
So let's say someone making 100K, they can think about max 300K house.
See,
How do they think?
no, we cannot generalize on the price because the price depends upon the interest rate. Interest rate, because the higher the interest rate, your monthly payment will be higher. So
Okay.
we have to flip our thought from how we think about, okay, what's the price of the home? You should think about what's the monthly payment. The entire economy in America is built on monthly payment. Even though the banks are saying we can go up to like 45% also or 55% also of the gross, we can approve you for that.
Okay.
But then let's step back to how to determine how much money family can should buy. That was your question, right?
Yeah.
The first question is, what are your other debt obligations? Let's say if you have to send $500, $1,000 to India, okay? So that's your debt obligation or like an obligation that you have to send it regardless, right? Next, if you have a Tesla, then it's whatever, $1,000 payment, right?
Yeah.
So people have to have that for the next 6, 7 years. So all that, then what is remaining for you? Whatever is remaining, then you use a mortgage calculator and punch in the numbers and see, okay, with this payment, how much home can I afford? And then you work off of that based on the current interest rate. Because right now the interest rate is around 5.5.
Yes.
Last year it was half of that. Last year it was 3%. So last year for this question, I could have given you a big number, but now you cannot afford that much home anymore. Yeah, I call it the triangle of home buying, right? With the triangle of home buying, what we say is there are three different factors that you have to pay attention to, and you have to see if the triangle is going to work for you. First is the budget. How much budget you want to allocate for buying a house. So that you come up with what I just mentioned, wherein you have to look at all your debt obligations and then see what is remaining. So that will be your budget. You use a mortgage calculator to see how much the price you can buy. So usually it's higher. Like, let's say it says you can buy a house for 1 million. You don't need a house for 1 million as a first time buyer, right?
Yeah.
Then what you should say is, okay, my budget is this. You write it down. Then you look at the year built. How old is the house? And then you have to look at the approximate location where it is. So all the three work in tandem.